Guess that's the cost of only being human. I'm near a decade in the game, still learning.
Alright, welcome back to a brand new video. I kind of just wanted to hop on here and talk about Lucid because it had a really insane move today. At its peak, it was up almost 50% on the day, which is just total insanity. Like, there was option plays that went 10,000% plus today. So if you guys played this today, congratulations. You guys made a killing. A lot of people in nets were on this one, and I saw a lot of people hit 1,000%ers. So congrats to all of you guys. And I don't think Lucid is done. So let's talk about it, and let's talk about indications it gave us throughout the day to not sell. And if you missed Lucid, that's completely okay. There's been many times I've missed moves like this. In 2020, I missed a lot of Tesla. I missed a lot of NEO. NEO was a stock that went from $2 to like $60, and I missed a big portion of that. So don't feel bad. There's always gonna be another move, and I honestly don't think Lucid is done giving opportunity. So don't feel too bad. Instead, just watch this video because I think you can pick up something and just learn from your mistakes of missing Lucid, so you can make sure you're ready for the next time an insane move like this happens. Because trust me, these happen. They're not common, but they do happen a couple of times a year. So you just have to know what to look for. First, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's talk about the daily chart. So the first indication that this was going to be a serious move was the fact that it broke a very key level. And why we know it's a key level, and that key level we're talking about is around that $30 point. And the reason we know it's a key level is because it's had previous price action here, and it's tested it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. And you could even say kind of wanted to test it here. It tried going above it here, but it failed. So, more than 5 times it's tried to go above that 30 level, but it's failed. And today we finally got the break, and we didn't just get a break. We got a very strong, a high conviction break on it. Like, if you watch around the time it broke that $30 price around here, it was a very strong move. Like, it just kept going. From there, it back tested 30, and then it just kept going. So you can tell that it wasn't just gonna break 30 and then drop back down. There was serious volume coming into this. Like, for example, the average volume on Lucid is like 30 million per day, and within the first hour of trading, it had already surpassed that. So you can tell like something was going on. There was people that wanted to get into this. There was serious buyers, and with all the hype around EV right now, like, that just added to the fuel. And you could just tell it was getting ready for a monster move. So that was the first indication, a key level break. Obviously, we saw very strong volume early on, and it was very consistent. Like, look at this, very consistent volume. Usually you see this volume in the first candles and then start dropping off, but this, it was steady, and it was honestly increasing. Look at this, increasing. It even reached a really high point where it's almost double the opening volume at a certain point. So you can just tell from the volume alone that everybody was paying attention to this. And that's ultimately what you need for one of these parabolic moves. You need a key level break, a lot of volume, a catalyst behind it, which, like I said, is the EV hype around it. Lucid has had news yesterday, I think, that it's going to have deliveries this weekend or something like that. So that added to the fuel. And just also the period amount of time it's been consolidating also added to that. So if you watch lesson 5, where I talk about the wave pattern, seeing a break of a key level like this that has been consolidating since February or March, like 10 months, this is exactly what you want to see before a big move, because it tells you that it's been consolidation and people have been accumulating this whole time. And then once we get the break, it's going to go crazy because of how long it's been consolidating and waiting for that move. Because we know, I think everybody knew that Lucid at $20 was a steal. Like, if you just look at the competitors of Lucid and you look at what Lucid is doing, their technology, their cars, everything, I think most people would agree that this could eventually and most likely will be a 100 billion plus company. So the fact that it was just, in the $20 range for so long, people knew that it was undervalued. So The smart people were accumulating this whole time. And then today, once we got this break, people are like, okay, I don't want to miss out if this finally starts getting momentum. So everybody just started jumping in today. All right, now let's look at the chart intraday, and let's look at why the chart kept telling us to stay in the play and not sell. So the first good sign we saw was yesterday after hours. So it had news Thursday or Wednesday pre-market, and we saw this big spike to 28.94. People thought it could probably test 30 that day, but it instantly failed, and then we pretty much just saw it fade the whole day and then just consolidate towards the end of day. But the good sign that we saw that this news wasn't, that this news catalyst wasn't done, was the action we saw after hours. So after hours, buyers showed some interest, and we started seeing it come back over this 27.40 level. So then this becomes our support, right? We want to see it hold this. And it does. It holds this. It goes back up, tests 28, rejects it again, but it holds 27.40. So that was a good sign. Then we come into pre-market, and we start seeing it move a little bit higher. And then the next key level was this 28.20 level, which was Wednesday's high of, or Tuesday's high of day, I think. Yes, Tuesday's high of day. So then we want to see it make this a support, which it does. So at this point right now where it's at 28 and it's trying to make 2020 its support, at open, here's a few scenarios. We see a flush because people want to take profits from this overnight gain. And so the worst case scenario was it dips to 27.80 pretty fast, but the dip gets bought and we recover 28.20. So that's the first scenario, the first good scenario. Second scenario is we don't dip below 28.20 and we just hold, and buyers start coming in to try to test this 28.90 level. And then the third scenario, which would be a bad scenario, is we start just fading. We see a little pop maybe, and then it just starts fading, and then we lose 27.40. Then that would just be a complete bad sign. But what we saw was it held 28.20, and then it immediately and very fast started pushing that 28.94 level. So this was yesterday's high, and we broke it. So then we start looking at 30, which we've talked about is a very key level. The exact number is like 28.94, I think. 29.81 actually. And it breaks that pretty fast as well. Right over here. Then it gets over 30. So then 30 becomes our support. And at this stage, like I said, the volume was very big. Like if you compare it to yesterday's volume, it's huge volume. And this move is happening very fast. Lucid doesn't normally just jump dollar moves like in 10 minutes, right? So you can tell something was going on with Lucid this morning. And a lot of people jumped in on that $30 break because, like I said, it's very key. And if you look at the daily chart, it's tested it like 6 times and failed. And then this time we got the break. Plus we got the volume. Plus we got the EV hype. Plus we had the catalyst that deliveries are coming this weekend. So just everything's on Lucid's side right now. And then once we get this $30 break, we consolidate a little bit, but we're not dropping, right? We're not dropping back to this zone. So very healthy. And then we make a move higher. We make a move to 31 actually. So at this stage, this is the high of day, right? So this is the high. Then we see our first significant dip. So a lot of people, when they start seeing these red candles, that's when they would decide to sell. Honestly, that's not a bad move. Like, it's not terrible. But with moves like this, where it's like there's like a bigger range you can expect, you just have to look at the really key levels. So the very key levels so far are 28.20, 28.94, 30, and now the high of day 31.22. Those basically, when you see moves like this, you got to really focus on the key levels. And is it holding those levels? So if you wanted to take profits here, fine, that's cool. But at this point, you should still, if you sold here, you should be looking for a re-entry if we don't break this key level, which we don't. We come to this 30, we backtest it, and we hold it. And look at the volume, it spikes. This dip was bought very fast, and then in 5 candles, we regain the move. So right now, very healthy. Then obviously you want to see a break high of day, which it does with the massive candle. So At this point, we just know the move is very strong. So we get a higher high, higher low, and then we break previous high of day, and we make a big move up. Then we come up to 33. So now this is our new key level. And then we see another pretty significant drop, but this time it doesn't even come to the 31.22. It just holds 32. So then this becomes our higher low. So then this becomes a key level. And then we make a move up, we test high of day, and we break it. But this time it's not a huge break, but it's still, we at least get the break. So this is a higher high. So because we broke the high, that's a good sign. So this is now a new key level. Then we see it drop a little bit, but it doesn't come near the previous low. So then this becomes our higher low. So then this becomes a key level. And then we see it kind of consolidate, try to test high of day, but it doesn't really do anything, but it doesn't make a new low. If this would have made a new low, then that's a sign to get out. But because it held this level, we're still in the position. Then it does come up and it does break the high of day. And then we see this massive run to 39.78. So then this becomes our new key level. That's the level to watch. And then we see it start dipping, and the volume at this point becomes very big. Like this was double the opening volume, which is just huge. So this move happened very fast. And at this point, most people were probably looking at that $40 break, but we come near it and then reject. So at this point, we see this candle right here, and we see it try to recover that, but it fell. So we get, you can call this kind of like a triple top. So that's your first indication of weakness right there. Then we see a pretty significant sell-off, but we still haven't tested the previous high. So at this point, you can still consider staying in. And then we start bouncing. So this becomes our higher low. Then we come up and we don't make a higher high. Then we see this candle again. So that's not a good sign. Once you see the second red candle, where these two candles are bigger than this green candle right here, this would probably be your sign to get out, because we failed to break this. We failed to come back up to this high of day. If we had come back to this high of day, then there's no reason to sell. But at this point, we're starting to see weakness. This is right here would probably be your indication to sell. And if you still decide to stay in, then your big reason to sell would be this red candle right here, where we broke this this higher low. Because at this point, it was still a higher low, but we broke it. So now we're making a lower low. That right there would be your indication to sell. So that's your exit signal right there. And then we come up, don't even come near that. So then now at this point, we're making lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Do you see that? Do you see how over here it was the opposite? Higher high, higher low. This low is higher than this low. This high is higher than this high. This low is higher than this low. This high is higher than this high. This low is higher than this high. But then the pattern switches. This low is lower than this low. This high is lower than this high. This high is lower than this high. So right when you see that pattern switch, that's when you want to exit the position. And especially when you start seeing red candles like this, when it breaks that level, that right there is your indication to sell. And then we just saw it fade the rest of the day. It starts coming back to these levels, seeing some support but not holding, and then we get the rest of the action. So hopefully I taught you guys kind of how to, when you see moves like this, kind of how to approach it. It's all about the higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. If you're maintaining that pattern, there's no reason to sell. But right when you see the pattern switch, that's when you want to start selling. And a key indication is just look how extended this move was getting. It's getting a little bit too extended. And usually when you start seeing volume like this, especially in the middle of the day, you start looking for a volume climax, which is we didn't get a clear volume climax on this move, but sometimes what you'll see is on that like last big candle, you'll see like a pretty significantly higher volume. So if you saw something like up here, that would have been a volume climax. We didn't get a clear volume climax, but you saw that the volume got pretty much as extended as it could, and then it started fading, and then that's when you wanted to start looking to sell. A reason not to sell would have been if it came here, it stayed above this level, and then it made a new high above this one. Then we could have been looking towards a new high of day in power hour, and we would have been looking for 40 plus today, but that didn't happen, and that's okay because we already had a huge 50% move. So eventually it had to cool off, and this leaves its opportunity for tomorrow. Like, look what it's doing after hours. It's making a higher high. It's making a higher low, and it's making higher highs now. So if we can continue this and it maintains up here pre-market, then we're looking good for tomorrow to potentially see a move 40 plus. So that's on the lookout for Friday, tomorrow. And if we zoom out, we still haven't hit the 1.618 extension for the trend-based fib extension, starting from here to up here to this pullback. It hasn't reached that yet, which would be at 42. So Friday potential price target would be 42. And then obviously we have this level at 43.94, which is our next key level resistance. And then obviously we look to fill up this gap if we get up above 43.94. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on Lucid. Hopefully you guys understood that higher high, higher low pattern. And then right when you see that pattern switch is when you want to get out and lock in those profits. But yeah, hopefully you guys traded Lucid. If you didn't, still be on the lookout. I still think it has lots of opportunity. When you see huge volume moves like this, you know it's not over. Like, we're still going to see a couple more crazy candles, and just Lucid's going to be on top watch for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know if this helped you guys out a lot, if this helped you understand things to look for when holding a position, what should make you decide to sell. But yeah, other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. It's been me, Zero, and I'm out. Peace.
Spending all my time back in the basement, more concerned with living dreams and these lavish vacations. 10,000 hours in my craft, keep establishing patience. I feel empowered when I rap, this ain't average creation. This my genesis, hunger come with benefits. I'm always unsatisfied and sharpen up my penmanship. Competition with myself, ego still the nemesis.